I run it out, I can run it in. All right, welcome back. I'm going to do a little thing here on my winch. I bought a Super ATV Black Ops 6,000 pound nylon rope winch. This is going to be used on my side-by-side rack. I know I'm in my welding attire, but that's because I'm waiting for my welder to cool down. I have an air-cooled torch. I got nothing else to do, and this is all got to get done. So, without further ado, I bought a 2-inch receiver hitch mount winch plate, which is for a bigger winch. And we're going to put this Super ATV Black Ops 6,000 pound winch on it. So we open it up. It's got instructions, the mounting plate for the front flare. Inside here, we got this little tiny winch. Doesn't hardly weigh much. What I like about it is it's got a wireless remote, the control box. I got all the wiring. I don't know how much of the wiring I'm going to end up using because I'm going to have to make longer leads to go to a battery, obviously. So, since that plate isn't made for this winch, we're going to have to make it work. So, I'm going to show you how you can do that. With this base plate, it gives me my 4 bolts that my winch has, so I don't even have to measure them. I can just lay it in here, center it up, and drill them through. Now, this won't sit on there quite right. I'm going to actually notch this out so this just fits right up to the original plate that come with a winch. And then I'm just going to bolt the winch, this plate, right down, bolt this on. And I think there's enough room to put the relay box right on the back side of this. And they give me terminals so I can cut the wires down, so I'll be able to shorten the wires up between the winch and the relay box. And it looks like it's very doable. So I guess I gotta take it back to my welding table so I can start cutting this out. All right, I just cut it. Cut it out. And I just have to grind it back a little bit, but it will bolt in there. Alright, I'm going to clamp it in here the other way. Alright, because the grinder can't get into a square corner, we're going to have to file. close. Ah, there, look, it fits. There, now my plate fits. This will bolt up flush. Life will be good. If I wanted to be fancy, I could probably cut an aluminum faceplate out to cover up all the rest of the holes, and then it'll look a little more fancier. But all I got to do now is drill the holes, the 4 holes in the bottom to bolt the winch on. I'm going to take my welder and I'm going to weld this back front, clean it up, paint it, and then I'm going to bolt it together. So I welded in the winch plate, and then I drilled my holes through. 2 of the holes actually lined up once I pulled it forward, and then I drilled the 2 back ones through to kind of cover up the front. I cut out a stainless steel plate that just covers up everything on the front, and then when you put the Fairlink on the front, just something to kind of dress it up a little bit. So they give you these little plastic washers. I really don't understand what that's for. I'm afraid you're going to scratch your powder coating. Unless that was to actually mount the winch down, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Oh. Never drilled that. right. That's what the front of it looks like now. We're ready to put the winch in it. Got a funny feeling I'm supposed to back that out. The instructions that come with this don't really say anything. Go. I guess I'll do it that way. So the freewheel does work pretty good. This is not a heavy winch. There we go. Got one started. Two bolts in. Pretty much it. Now They give you a rubber stopper. I'm gonna have to figure out where the hardware for it is. And oh, there's the hardware for the rubber stopper. They give you electrical ends to crimp on the wires so you can adjust the wire sizes. The only thing left to do for me is I need to mount the control box somehow up out of the way, and I guess I'll probably make another bracket and it'll sit up here. So let me make another bracket. We'll move on. All right. I ended up making a bracket to hang the electronics on, the relay box slash it's also for the wireless remote. They give you quite a bit of cable for the winch to the relay box that's red, yellow and blue, which they have painted the terminals yellow and blue, and you got yellow and blue on the winch motor. So you know them have to go together. I shortened them, obviously, with the controller right next to the motor. I don't need them that long. They give you the crimp ends and heat shrink tube, enough to do 4, and the terminal covers. So all I got to do is make these up and make the connection. Make sure you got a good crimper for crimping those ends on. These ones work really good for those smaller ones. They wouldn't work on large battery cables, but they can put a pretty good crimp in it. I would have liked them to use the yellow and the blue sleeves, but black works. Once I mount them up here. Suppose I should take the flat washer too. Don't give you much room to get those boots over, do they? Try not to tear it. Close. A little more persuasion. Could be a little more interesting on the lower one, but I got it to fit. So that's what it should look like. I'll get the yellow one on. I'll get the other side here on the winch motor. I had to order my power leads. I just bought a 30-foot jumper cable leads that have a quick disconnect and a battery connection. So 2 gauge, it's rated for 800 amps, should be enough for this little winch. I'll have that here in a couple days. Alrighty, to conclude my winch build, it's completely assembled. I learned a little bit of a lesson, but I kind of figured that that's probably how it worked. I have rewired an end on the controller that you would normally put in the dash. There's a red wire that has to go to power. So I made up an adapter. I have the red wire connected to my battery terminal, since the only time I'm going to use it is when I have the jumper cables hooked up. I picked up these 30-foot. They have a plug-in. You'd normally hardwire them onto your vehicle for a jumper mount. 83 bucks with tax on Amazon. It looks like it's pretty decent. I hope to not use this at all, but we're setting it up just in case. I'd rather have something that I can use once in a while. There's times I've run into pulling something up on my trailer, so I could put a hitch mount on the front of my trailer, and I can put the pin in and hook the winch on the front of my trailer, run the jumper cables. They're 30 foot. They should make it to the tongue of the trailer from up here. Or to the top of my side-by-side rack. I have the hitch mount up on top. But anyway, back to that. This just plugs in. This will stay plugged in. I've got just a blank plug. It's got 4 plug-offs to keep water and dirt out. So if I wanted to, I could plug in my winch controls. What I like, there, got to plug it in until the light lights up. Then I know it's got power. So, winch runs with the remote, the handheld wired one. Super Winch gives you a wireless remote. I hold it for 5 seconds, both buttons. There's a little LED that turns on. The instructions that come with this sucks, but it is written on the back of the battery box. So when you're tearing it apart and looking at the batteries to find out why the remote doesn't work, it's because you got to hold both buttons. I can unplug this remote. Does not have to be plugged in at all. And I can run it out. I can run it in. Turn the remote off. You hold both buttons till the light goes out. It's about 5 seconds. And then, like I said, I have the dummy cap to keep the dirt and the mud out of this plug-in. I'll throw this in my toolbox. No idea if this will work or not when I want to use it. It does have 2 AAA batteries in it, so it's not a coin, but still, you know, having them for what reason would I have AAA batteries on me for? So for champs, this remote doesn't work. I have a wired one that will work. And that's pretty much it. You can see I mounted this up on here. I've got 2 rubber clamps to clamp these big heavy 2-gauge jumper cables on. It's got a quick disconnect, so I can store these off in a bag. They came with a bag, so it'll all store away nice. I like the fact that this whole thing is actually manageable weight-wise. One person can carry it around. You know, I'm probably 40 pounds without throwing it on the scale. The winch was 30 pounds, and I don't think the rest of this weighs over 10. So this is a nice lightweight winch option. 6,000 pounds is quite a bit of pulling force, and if you want to double the line with a tackle, you can double that force. Now, without reading the specs, 6,000 pounds is probably not with the rope all the way in. They go by wraps around the winch, so the weight rating with a spool half full or more is going to be a lot less, but your initial pull with a spool out, 1 or 2 wraps should be close to that 6,000 pound rating. So if they're rating these correctly, but that should be more than enough to pull something up. And like I said, I've got the little tackle block with a pulley in it, so if I got to double the force, I can. I've got 2 of them, so we could really make this into a big multiplier if I wanted to. Whether or not I got enough winch rope, I don't know. But overall, I'm happy with it. It's small, it's kind of compact, and if I need it, I've got it. So it's just one more thing to carry around on the truck. I'm probably going to put this in a waterproof tub to kind of protect it a little bit. My goal is not to need it, but it's always nice to have stuff, or you know somebody that gets in trouble, you can go help them out. There's good and bad with that, but hopefully they're good friends. So anyway, this was my build. This was the plate that I ended up making on here. It turned out pretty good. So anyway, if you go to do one of these yourself and it's not a self-contained winch, I didn't want to spend the money for a big huge winch. I don't want to carry a big winch around. Just keep in mind that you've got to have this little red power wire. I may try to zip tie this up so it'll stay, my cable will stay out of it. I'm not sure if I like their little connector. I didn't see any O-rings or anything in this, but I don't plan on leaving it outside in the rain. The whole idea was to have it so that it wasn't mounted to my rack the whole time. You know, I got friends that are telling me I got to have a winch up there in case, you know, you got to load it. Well, obviously, if I'm pulling another trailer with a side-by-side on it, I'm going to put the working side-by-side up on my rack, and then we'll load the one on the trailer. I would assume that would be a whole lot easier. So anyway, that concludes my video. Thanks for watching. I hope I helped some people out with some ideas. Whole goal is to go out there and have fun. Thanks.